farming. So I'm not happy with my San Marzano tomatoes. I have some Roma tomatoes. I'm going to go ahead and clone them. While I'm doing that, I thought I'd talk about the Kratky method. Net cups are suspended above a reservoir of water. And I've mixed up my growing solution, so check out my other video. As the plant grows, it depletes the water level and a gap develops between the plant stem and the water. And that allows the plant to then take up oxygen. In theory, when the water is fully depleted, your plant would be ready to harvest. So an example would be cauliflower, cabbage, things of that nature. So again, the reservoir is set up very similar as if I was growing with the Kratky method. So now that I've mixed up my grow solution, I'm going to go ahead and harvest a couple of tops of my Roma tomatoes. I'll be right back. Okay, I've harvested my top of a Roma tomato, and I've cut this on a 45-degree angle, and I've cut off all the leaves. I'm going to leave this flower right here. Again, my goal is to get to production as soon as possible. So I purchased these neoprene round pieces on Amazon, and there's I believe it's a 2-inch net pot that I've cut the bottom off. And the reason for that is when I place this in here, once my roots develop, I'll be able to pull this out without ripping the roots, and then this will go into soil. So let me go ahead and harvest 3 others. Okay, this is my 4th cutting. I'm going to try and come in here so you can see the very fine, I'm going to call them almost roots. So we want several nodes. Sorry about that, I cut the tip of my nail off today, cutting a snack up for Primo. Anyway, a couple of nodes that'll be down into the cloning station. I've aggressively trimmed a lot of this, so there's not a lot up top. Remember, I have a growing solution, so these plants are going to be fed immediately. And again, what we'll see when I come back is you'll notice that these, almost like peach fuzz hairs, will turn into the roots. So let me go ahead and put this one in the cloning station and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so again, I want to make sure that we're getting wet. So right about there, we still have quite a bit exposed, so it'll get access to oxygen and air. So there we go. In this station, I've got 4 Roma tomato plants. In a minute, I'm going to move it next to the greenhouse. I do have an aeration system I'm going to be incorporating here. That'll just give it a little bit extra oxygen. It's extremely hot. It's the summer. Actually, tomorrow is the first day of summer. That'll help with the plants rooting. From there, they'll go into soil. Again, the reason why I'm doing this is I'm not happy with my San Marzano tomatoes. And before I lose the last of my Roma tomato plants, I'm harvesting some of the tops so I can clone the plants. I do have more seeds. I'll be starting later towards the end of summer. So anyway, let me get this moved and I'll show you what it looks like with the aeration system. There we go, we're all set up. This is where I'm at. I'm on the outer corner of the greenhouse next to that beautiful Birdie's raised garden bed. Oh, look at this, marigold from seeds, got Italian kale, a little bit of Swiss chard, and one of my favorites, fennel. Anyway, back to the cloning station. So there's my bubbler. Hopefully you can see that. So that's going to add a lot of nice oxygen. Now, I started out talking about the Kratky method. For all intents and purpose, I could leave these tomato plants here as long as I trellis them, and I should get close to 3 months worth of growth out of this, or I can add, typically if I was going to add this reservoir, I'd fill it about halfway to still leave some air space for the roots, and I could grow my tomatoes right in this. So therefore I say this is the Kratky method. I'm not going to do that. So I did just want to talk about the Kratky method. That's Kratky, Kratky method. It's really, you get outstanding results with it. I've grown cabbage, cauliflower, many other greens, a lot of bok choy, things of that nature. So again, same principle now for the cloning station. So that's what we have. I'll go inside the greenhouse and show you my pump. Okay, I'm inside the greenhouse. It's 96 degrees. I've just turned my fan off just so we can get a little bit better audio here. This is the pump I use, and if I ever wanted to ramp up my production, I've got another 5 outlets that I could hook up aerators and have more cloning stations, or just grow in the Kratky method. That's the pump I'm using. So you can get ones as cheap as $12. This is more towards the $30 mark. The aerator I have is a disc. It's round. That was about $12 to $14 on Amazon as well. So that's the pump that's driving my cloning station, which would also be the one I would use if I continued to grow in that station via the Kratky method. Okay, welcome back. So, in honor of one of the, I'll call him my mentors, Rock Hughes from beautiful British Columbia. He usually started his videos opening up a nice craft beer. Right now, with what's going on, I think now more than ever, it's appropriate to finish on Rock's tradition. Okay, so that's a Kentucky vanilla barrel cream. Excellent. As my buddy Brock would say, I hope this finds you well. Please, be kind to one another, now more than ever. And that's why I thought of my buddy Brock. So, there you go. Leave me alone, I'm busy farming. We'll see you next time back here at the Food Forest. Hold on, someone wants to say hello. There he is. Ha ha ha. All right. Ciao. So I just wanted to give a recap on today's video. I am not happy with my San Marzano tomatoes. Therefore, I wanted to clone some of my Roma tomato plants before they're at the end of their growth. They're just about there, so I don't know what I've harvested is good. While I was setting up that cloning station, I thought we could just briefly touch on the Kratky method. It's a great way to grow. I've done it in the past, so I'd encourage you to check it out. I might do a more in-depth video as I actually set up some of the Kratky growing stations, probably later towards the fall. It's a little too warm in the greenhouse, and we'll explore that method of growing. In the meantime, I encourage you to all to check it out. Bobby over at Mobile Home Park, MHP I believe it's called, Gardener. Check him out, Bobby. He's the one that turned me on to the Kratky method. And again, to my buddy Brock Hughes, haven't heard from him in a while. I hope he's well. And again, I hope this finds all of you well. We appreciate all of you. And again, I would just remind everyone, be kind to one another.